Welcome everyone. Thank you for your patience. My name is Nicole Harris and I am in our support department, and I'm joined here today by Frank Rittersdorf.
Hello everyone.
And today we will be covering the waiving dues for qualified members. And while we're waiting for a few more of our attendees to join, I'd like to just take a moment to talk about our survey that we sent out from our last webinar. And we got great feedback from that, by the way, and we appreciate you guys filling those out and sending them to us so that we know where we're at with these webinars for you. In addition, we do have the section about suggestions for the next webinar topics, and we appreciate it. We did get a few of those, so we will get those going for you. And during the webinar, if you do have any questions, please feel free to ask them. They will be addressed at the end of the webinar, but please feel free to ask them as we go along. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this, and what we're going to do first is we're going to talk about the section in the February Nerds News that discussed this waiving the dues for qualified members, and at this point I'm going to hand this part over to Frank.
Thank you, Nicole. Now, first off, I just want to touch on it that this is just a highlight of what was in the NAR newsletter. To find out more or all the specifics of the NAR's conditions that a member needs to meet before NAR considers them a qualified member to be waived, please talk to your key contact at your office or even contact NAR directly. Typically, NAR is the hardest association level to become waived as a member. So the first option, as we can see here, is number one, is if you're a emeritus member. And basically with NAR you have to be 40 years of membership with NAR, and it used to be 50 years. It looks like they've changed it recently. This is not an automatic waiver though. There are steps for the local association to do for that member to become a waived member, so definitely look into that. Also, you can be waived member if you're an active member that was a past president of the National Association of Realtors, and an active member who was the recipient of a NAR's Distinguished Service Award. So those are a couple other ways to become a waived member with NAR. There's some temporary options to be waived. One is if you're an active reserve or your spouse is in the active reserves and they're called to active duty. Then you can, NAR considers them to be waived for the time that they're in active duty. After that, though, you will have to keep track of that, and when they do come back from active duty, you'll need to set them off as a regular member that is charged dues with NAR. Another temporary way is regarding transfers. Sorry about that. If a member has paid the NAR dues with one office, and in the middle of the year they transfer over to your office, then for that year, technically, when you're putting them in, they're actually waived as well. And again, that's temporary, and then you have to keep track of that, and when it's a new billing year, then you'll want to mark them as a paying NAR dues through your association. Okay? And then from there, I think Nicole will go ahead and show us how we set that up in Magic. How do you set up a member up to be waived in Magic?
Thank you, Frank. Okay, so, and just a side note, we are training you or showing you this presentation on our newest version of the software. So if you're interested in obtaining an upgrade, please go ahead and give support a call and we can get you scheduled for that. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to go to your member screens. You're going to locate the member in question that you would like to waive their dues. So we were going to pick this person. What you'll do is you'll come down to their association record, your association record, in their member record, and you're going to go ahead and zoom on that, which will bring up their association detail. And as you can see over here on the right-hand side, the dues waived, the local, state, and national. Okay, so this is where we're going to determine what we're going to waive. So you have to make the choice of which ones that, especially with national, again, as Frank had discussed, if they've qualified to be waived, then you would set all of them. Or if you're just going to waive your local or your state, then you would make these changes here. So you would you're in modify mode, so you can just go ahead and make these changes as such. Okay? Once you're done, you can go ahead and escape out of here. And you'll see that the change is made in their member record. So from this point, we're going to need to make sure that we set up the rest of your billing in order to make sure that this will reflect correctly.
Now, Nicole, if our customers have actually set up charge codes in the past, they're probably pretty familiar with this form. But tell us, what do we have to pay special attention to when we're talking about setting up a charge code and we want to consider a member that has waived dues?
Okay. In order to set up the charge codes correctly to make this work, you're going to need to enter the special billing code. Now, the special billing code serves several functions, one for being dues waived. The special billing code needs to be 10 for local, 20 for state, and 30 for national. It has other functions, but in order for it to print out properly and to actually be billed properly on the invoices, you'll need to make sure all of these are set up properly. Now, once you've done this and these have been set up properly, then your invoices will reflect like this. So as you can see, when we went ahead and waived the dues for the local and the state, in your pre-billing and on your invoices, this is how it should display. So we want to make sure that we show them that these dues, these actual fees were waived instead of just not having it on the invoice at all. This way it gives them the opportunity to see that, yes, this information was waived. And once you have set up your system in order to do this, and when you transmit your information to NERDS, all of that information will be recorded at NERDS as such. Okay? And basically, in conclusion, that is about all you need to do to make sure that this is set up properly. And again, I'm going to go ahead and open up my section here to see if we have any questions here. I'm also going to go ahead and bring up on the screen right now our upcoming webinars. And this is something that you would have received regarding the webinars in the future. So our next one is actually on March the 2nd. Where we're going to discuss the data exchange financial transmittal setup. So we will show you how to properly set up your system in order to create your financial reports and send any transmittals that you would like to send to NAR. This is a question, can you clarify if you need to establish a separate bill type for members who have dues waived? No, the answer to that is no, you do not need to. You can just, the way you do that is, just to make sure that you set the association record for that particular member to the dues waived. If you wanted personally to have a separate bill type so that if you wanted to run, a bill type report or a member report or something to that effect so that it jumps out at you so you would know, absolutely you can do that just to make sure that if you do create a new bill type, that you are adding charge codes to that particular bill type in billing type charges so that it does come out correctly on the statement. You want to make sure that it does come out on the statement itself instead of it not showing up at all so that they can see that their dues are waived. Okay, I'm going to check and see if I have any more questions. Let's see here. I do not see any further questions. Let's see, hold on. Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, if you do not set up a separate bill type, I'm sorry, Jenny, the second half of your question. If you do not set up a separate bill type, are there reports in Magic that will tell you how many members are waived from dues? Yes, as a matter of fact, you can. And in the member report itself, if we go here to Magic, I'm going to minimize this again. If we go to Magic and we're going to go to our member reports section, so under managers, then membership, member reports, member report by member type. Okay? Right here in this, so you'd fill out the rest of your criteria, but here, checked dues waived, local, state, and national. So you can check these off and the report will produce the amount of people that you do have set up as such. Okay, well, it looks as if, yeah, very good question, by the way. It looks as if that is it for our questions at the moment. Again, I'm going to show you again our screen for our upcoming webinars. If you have any questions that you come up with after the fact, please feel free to go ahead and email support. We'd be happy to answer your questions. And again, please do us a favor and fill out that survey and suggest topics for the future so that we can make this, geared towards you. And again, thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.